Hey guys, what's up? Triple G here with another Borderlands 3 video. If you like Borderlands 3 content, like streaming, and want to get involved in a building community, then please hit that subscribe button and follow the links to the Discord below to join our ever-growing community. Now today what I'm going to be talking about is the Electric Banjo versus the Victory Rush. A lot of people on Reddit at the moment are talking about how the Victory Rush is actually better than the Electric Banjo, but I couldn't disagree more. So what I want to do is go through some of the advantages that I think the Electric Banjo has over the Victory Rush and kind of compare them and when you're going through like the Slaughter Shaft or killing a boss or anything like that. So let's jump straight into it. And the first thing I want to say is, so these are the two items that I've got. So I'm in a mode at the moment where we have neutral modifiers. So we'll just double check that just to make sure. So pistol damage, which is going to give us no bonus because we're going to use an SMG. And enemies are more accurate, so we're getting no negatives there either. So the Electric Banjo has got plus shock damage as well, and electrocute chance, which is the god roll. And this Victory Rush is also a pretty decent one, but it could be better in terms of damage. But for the test, there's no kind of buffs to SMG, right? So one of the things that happens with Zane quite a lot is that he can run out of ammo because he's chaining through ammo, chaining through enemies. Now, the Victory Rush gives you an 18% damage up speed all the time once you've killed a badass, but you need to be killing a badass every 60 seconds to get that movement speed and damage buff of 20%. Now, I have a plus 16% shock damage buff, but if I'm not using shock damage on the Banjo, I'm not getting any buff from the weapon whatsoever. But what I am doing is that the Banjo's unique ability, which is to chain chain lightning between the enemies, I'm doing that all the time. So what I want to show you here is that if I go down, and this is the hillbilly, so these are just four named enemies down here. Now, remember what I said about the ammo and ammo being a problem for Zane? If I go into here, I will kill some of the other enemies without ever firing them. So if this, in this example, if this was an advantage, so you see there how this enemy absolutely got melted because they were chaining between the other two enemies. Now I only actually shot at 2 of the 4 enemies, meaning that I used far less ammunition than if I was using a Victory Rush. If I'd used a Victory Rush and ran in here, I'd have got maybe the buff off the first guy, and then I would have got 20% damage extra against the other 2. Now, what I think is better is the fact that I've only had to shoot at two enemies. So if I'm doing something like the Slaughter Shaft or the Man-on-Man Takedown, ammo's never really a problem. And in addition to that, I'm chaining all the time with the redistributor with its 7 amp thing. Plus, I'm chaining with the Electric Banjo itself. So I think it's categorically better. The range on the Banjo is pretty far. Plus, unlike the recursion, where the ricochets can sometimes get stopped by the environment, the Banjo will go through the environment. So if there was an enemy inside the wall, as long as you've got another enemy here to chain it off, you will completely kill both enemies without ever having to fire at this enemy, and without having to, like, say, go around the other side of the wall to shoot the enemy. And this particularly works well on the Man-on-Man Takedown, where Wotan has his shield phase, and you can use the enemies that surround Wotan, shoot them, and the Banjo will go through the shield, ignore the shield, unlike the ricochet, which recursion, where the shield now blocks. You can ignore the shield completely and just use the enemies to take down his shield, and you won't even have to jump up to use a shot cutsman or anything like that. So particularly for just all-round gameplay, I think the Electric Banjo is just sensational. There are definite merits to the Victory Rush if you can't get Electric Banjo, because it can be a bit of a pain to get. The Victory Rush will work pretty well, but you are relying on a badass to be around to proc that, and you're only getting 20%. You're only getting 20%, whereas I can put lots and lots of shock damage out by just shooting at one enemy, and I might kill 3 and 4 around them without ever firing at them. And the guy I'm firing at, because it's chaining, is getting extra damage on them as well. So overall, I would definitely recommend the Electric Banjo for Zane, particularly this roll, which is the God roll. But there's only like 2 or 3 variations of rolls. So if you do get one, you've got quite a high chance of getting the God roll Electric Banjo. And it works sensationally well with a redistributor. And if you're using kind of the My Zapper Zane build or the Electric Chain Zane builds, redistributor is just the perfect weapons for Zane. So if you like this video, and you like Borderlands 3 content, please hit that subscribe button. Please come and join us on Discord. We are streaming 2 or 3 times a week at the very least at the moment. So come and join this community. We are doing things in the right way here. Particularly for beginners, you are going to enjoy just a chilled atmosphere. I'll catch you on the flip.